Hello friends, good to see you back. In this tutorial we are going to learn MySQL date function. Here you can see a list of date function. And in this tutorial we are going to cover the green ones. And I'm going to complete the remaining functions in our next videos. So let's start the practical and try to understand how we can use this function with our select command. Here you can see I'm back to my MySQL Workbench application. I already start XAMPP server. And I already create my connection. At first, I'm going to use current date function, which is going to return current date, means today. So first, I'm going to remove the old code and I'm going to type select current date. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written current date. Whatever it's written, it is not our local time. It came from the server. It's written server date. For now, we use localhost server, that's why it's written our local system time and date. Similarly, we have the short form version of this function, which is car date. Let me show you. If I use car date and then execute this code, here you can see it's written same result. This function also return current date. Our next function is sysdate. Let me show you. It's basically written our local system date. There is no difference between current date and system date. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written date, with date it's written current time. Similarly, we have another function related to sysdate, which is now. Let me show you. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written same result. It's written server date and time. Our next function is date. Let me show you. If I pass date and time to this function, it's going to return date. So first I'm going to take a alias name for this column as date. And then I'm going to pass date and time as parameter. So first I'm going to provide year 2021 dash month is, and I'm going to pass June month, and then our date is 21. With that, I'm going to pass a time 10:32 minute 21 second. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written date only, not the time. Similarly, our next function is month. Basically, it's going to return the month of this date. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 6 only. If I pass any date and time to this function, it's going to return the month. Our next function is month name. Here you can see a numeric value, but I want to return the month name. For that, we need to use month name. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written the month name, June. Our next function is day function. If I use this function, let me show you. And then execute this code, here you can see it's written the date. Date is 21. So this function basically return the date of this month. Similarly, we have another function related to this function, which is day of month. If I execute this code, here you can see the same result. Our next function is day name. Let me show you. It's going to return the weekday name according to this date. So if I execute this code, here you can see it's written Monday. 21 June 2021 was Monday. If I change the month and I type 7th and then execute this code, here you can see Wednesday. And if I want to see the index number of this week, for this we need to type day of week. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 4th day. As you know, days start from Sunday. That's why Wednesday is the 4th day of any week. Similarly, we have another function which is related to this function, day of year. So I'm going to type day of year. As you know, we have total 365 days in a year. So according to this date, it's going to return the day number. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 202. Our next function is last day function. Let me show you. If I type last _day and I'm going to pass February month, means 2. If I execute this code, it's going to return last date of this month, which is 28 February. If I use any different year, something 2020, and then run this code, here you can see the last date of this month is 29 because we know 2020 is leap year. That's why it's written 29. For now, I complete all these functions. And now I'm going to use these functions with the real database. And now I'm going to use all this query with our table. Here you can see a table named student. If I show you my table, here you can see we have total 5 students in this table. Advan, Smith, Sophia, Neha and Mia. With that you can see another column named DOB, means date of birth. And I save their date of birth, year, month and day format. And now I'm going to use all the query one by one. So first I'm going to type select ID, comma, name, comma, DOB, means date of birth, from student. And now I want to extract day from this date of birth. For this I'm going to use a function, comma, and our function name is day function. Then inside the parenthesis we need to provide the column name, which is DOB. And also I'm going to take alias name for this column as day. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written day from their date of birth. Advan 10th day, Smith 23rd, Sophia 9th, etc. And their name. Execute this code. Here you can see Advan born in Saturday, Smith born in Tuesday, Sophia Sunday, etc. So similarly you can use all these functions one by one. In the next tutorial I'm going to cover these functions. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next exercise. This is the second video related MySQL date functions. Here you can see all the date functions related MySQL. And in this tutorial we are going to cover the green ones. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical. Here you can see I'm back to my MySQL Workbench application and I already start my XAMPP server. So I'm going to start this tutorial with week function. So I'm going to type select week. Inside the round braces I'm going to pass the date 2021 dash, and our month is August and the date is 21 space. Also I'm going to provide time 09 colon 35 minutes colon 41 second. And also I'm going to take a alias name to this column as week. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written this is the 33 week in this year. As you know, we have total 52 week in a year. It basically return week number according to this date. Similarly, if I change the month and I'm going to pass January month and then execute this code, here you can see it's written 3 week. Similarly, we have another function which is weekday. So I'm going to type day. According to this date, it's going to return day number of this week. Let me show you. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 3. So let's change the month 8. And once again I'm going to run this code. Here you can see it's written 5. As you know, our week start from Sunday. So according to this result, this is Thursday. Our next function is year week. So I'm going to type year week. It's going to return 2 results, year and week, according to this date. If I execute this code, here you can see first it return year 2021 and then it's written week number, which is 33. Our next function is week of year. So I'm going to type week of year. This function also going to return week number of the given date. If I execute this code, here you can see similarly it's going to return week number 33. Our next function is year function. We already learned about it in our previous tutorial. So let me show you once again. If I remove this week off and then execute this code, here you can see it's written the year according to this date 2021. Our next function is extract, which is very important function. Using this function we can extract year, date, week, time, etc. as we want. So I'm going to type extract. Using this extract function, you can retrieve any value from the given date. Suppose we want to extract month to this date. For this we need to type month here. Month from this date. And also I'm going to change the alias name. Week to result. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 8. There are a lot of parameters you can use it here. Let me show you. You can extract microsecond, week, quarter, hour, minute, etc. Suppose now I want to extract week from this date. So I'm going to type week. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 33. And if you want to extract hour from this date, let me show you, and execute this code, it's written 9. In the similar way, you can extract minute, second, millisecond, etc. So in that way, you can use all the parameters. You can try it one by one yourself. So let's talk about our next function. Our next function is add date. First we need to take a existing date. Then using interval, we return a new date. So I'm going to type select add date. For now, I'm going to use this date only, not the time. So I'm going to remove the time. And now I want to add 20 days to this date. For this, first I'm going to use a comma. Then I'm going to type a text, which is interval. After interval, 20 day. Obviously, I don't need this from an hour keyword. It's mean I want to add 20 day with this existing date. If I execute this code, it's going to return a new date. Let me show you. Here you can see it's written a new date 2021. Our month is 09 and date is 10. We can add how much day we want. Let me show you. Suppose I want to add 321 day. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written a new year 2022, 7 month and date is 8. Not only that, we can add months. Let me show you. Suppose I want to add 3 months and we need to pass month parameter. If I execute this code, here you can see it add 3 months with existing date. We can add anything, week, month, year, etc. Here you can see the list. What kind of parameter we can use this function. Similarly, we have another function which is do the same job, which is date underscore add. If I execute this command, you can see the same result. Suppose I want to add 5 months. If I execute this command, here you can see it's jump into the new year 2022. So there is no difference between add date function and date underscore add function. So in this function, we can add value with existing date. But if we want to create a new date, then we have another function. So let me show you. So I'm going to use make date. Obviously we need to type select command. Select make date. Inside the round braces, we need to pass two parameters. First we need to pass the new date year. Suppose 2023. And then we can pass a day. Suppose our day is 5. If I executing this code, here you can see it's written a date, year is 2023 and month is 01, means January month. If we pass year and date, by default it's always written January month. It's going to return first month of this year. This function can only create January month date. We cannot pass any month value in this function. So let's jump into our next function and our last function, which is date underscore sub. It's play the opposite role of date underscore add function. Let me show you. Date underscore sub sub. If I execute this code, it's going to minus from this existing date. Let me show you. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written. Here you can see it's written March month, 2021, 03 month and date is 21. So using this function, we can subtract month, hour, day, week, etc. Suppose I want to extract 21 day from this existing date. So I need to pass day parameter. If I execute this code, here you can see the result. So for now, this is the end of this tutorial. In our upcoming tutorial, I'm going to cover the remaining ones. Subdate, to underscore days, from underscore days, etc. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next tutorial.